Draymond Green. And this is something I've talked about with some of you guys on the socials and, everything we got going on right there, the way we talk. And, if you guys haven't heard, Draymond Green actually, he had one of those post-game conferences or, post-game interview conferences with the media. And he spoke to, there's this whole thing happening in Cleveland with Andre Drummond being, traded or he was on the trading block and they decided to bench him and not play him and let him play in the game because, they were going to get rid of him. So, Draymond Green from the Golden State Warriors took issue with the whole situation and, just kind of his feeling on how, players are treated, when they want to, switch teams and go to another organization versus, when a organization decides, oh, well, we're just gonna, get rid of this player. So I'm gonna play you just a couple minutes here, a clip, from, that interview, so you guys can, hear, some of Draymond's comments. And, I'm gonna go ahead and play that right now for you guys and, take a listen.
I would like to talk about something that's really bothering me. And, it's the treatment of players in this league. To watch Andre Drummond before the game sit on the sideline, then go to the back, and then come out in street clothes because a team is going to trade him. Because when James Harden asked for a trade and essentially dogged it, I don't think there was no surprise or there's no one's going to fight back that James was dogging it his last days in Houston. But he was castrated for wanting to go to a different team, and everybody destroyed that man. And yet a team can come out and say, oh, we want to trade a guy, and then that guy is to go sit. And if he doesn't stay professional, then he's a cancer, and he's not good in someone's locker room, and he's the issue. And we've seen situations of Harrison Barnes getting pulled off the bench. DeMarcus Cousins finding out that he's traded in an interview after the All-Star game. And we continue to let this happen. But I got fined for stating my opinion of what I thought should happen with another player. But teams can come out and continue to say, oh, we're trading guys, we're not playing you. And yet we're to stay professional. At some point, as players, we need to be treated with the same respect and have the same rights that the team can have. Because as a player, you're the worst person in the world when you want a different situation. But a team can say they're trading you, and that man is to stay in shape. He is to stay professional. And if not, his career is on the line. At some point, this league has to protect the players from embarrassment like that. We talk all of this stuff about you can't do this, you can't say that publicly. If you say that publicly, you're fine. Anthony Davis got fined, I think, $100,000 or something like that for demanding a trade publicly. But you can say Andre Drummond is getting traded publicly, and we're looking to trade him publicly, and he's to stay professional and just deal with it. But then when Kyrie Irving say, oh, my mental health is off, everybody go crazy about that too. Do you not think that affects someone mentally? As much as we put into this game to be great, to come out here and be in shape, to produce for fans every single night, and most importantly, to help your team win, do you think that doesn't affect someone mentally? But as players, we're told to, no, you can't say that, you can't say this, but teams can. It goes along the same lines of when everyone wants to say, oh, man, that young guy can't figure it out. But no one wants to say the organization can't figure it out. At some point, the players must be respected in these situations, and it's ridiculous, and I'm sick of seeing it. Y'all have a great night. I'll see y'all tomorrow or Wednesday.
So those were Draymond's comments, and look, man, I agree with Draymond. He makes a lot of good points. I think there is a double standard of especially look, James Harden isn't exactly the best situation because you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of blame to go around in that entire situation with Houston and James Harden. Like, that's kind of, one of those things where I kind of see both sides of the story. I kind of saw where James was coming from, and I also understood where the organization and the rest of the other players in that locker room were coming from. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's not really the greatest example, but I mean, I find like what Draymond says has a lot of validity. I mean, I think it's true, man. It's like, you know, when a player wants to go somewhere else and, you know, he's not happy with his current situation, you know, even if he does things totally appropriate, goes upstairs to the people in the office, says, hey, I'm not happy here. I would like to be traded to another team. I would like to go elsewhere and you know, try to, you know, compete for a championship. It's just not happening for me here. All of a sudden that guy, you know, he becomes a big problem and a cancer to the locker room, and he's bringing down the organization, and that whole narrative is pretty much cast on that player. You know what I mean? LeBron James comes to mind when he left Cleveland the first time, you know, after the decision, which obviously a lot of factors in that whole thing with the decision, but you know what I mean? It's true, man. When a player wants to do something, you know, when the player wants to make the decision, they're looked at as the bad guy, the villain, right? But when the organization just like, you know, do say we're going to get rid of you, never mind your home life situation, you're, you know, uprooting your family to another city again. You know, we're just going to trade you, and that's all there is to it. And, you know, we're not going to catch any flack for that. And, yeah, man, I think that the organizations get away with that a little bit to some extent. So I think Draymond is correct in that regard. 'Cause look, the argument's always going to be, well, these players signed a contract with the organization. It's like, yes, you know, but you know who else signed that contract? The organization. You know what I mean? They both agreed to terms of a contract. So listen, if I'm just saying, if the organization is allowed to say, you know what, we don't like the results, you know, we're going to terminate this contract, or we're going to use this, you know, we're going to move you somewhere else, within our powers of this contract, then, hey, you know, I think by that same token that the players should also have that same right to say, well, you know what, I'm not happy here. I don't want to finish out the rest of the terms of this contract. And I want, you know, to do something else. So look, man, like I said, it's kind of, and this is kind of the messages that I've been getting from you guys on the situation. I think, you know, it's been mixed. Some people agree with Draymond, some people don't agree with Draymond, but like I said, man, there's one side, there's the other side, but I think the truth kind of lies somewhere in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just kind of how I see things, but, you know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think, right into the show. Do you guys, side with Draymond on the entire situation? Do you guys agree more with the, organization's rights to, move players and, you know, the way they go about handling their business? Do you think both sides need to kind of come together and, you know, find a way to, you know, cause, you know, it is one thing, you know, I have seen in the past where like players find out from like Twitter or the media or whatever it may be, that, you know, they've been traded and they're no longer a part of an organization, where it's just like, no, man, that shouldn't be the way. Like, the organization should be the one, you know, keeping in touch with the player and saying, hey, look, it's not working out. We're going to move you elsewhere. And, you know, just keep things on level with people, you know what I mean? Like, what's so wrong about that? But, you know, man, just,